do you meet him at the camps he starts at? It looks like he like touches all the blue camps, then goes to the red camps to clear them. I've never
Depends
played a
how
game of.
strong you are level 2. You can go red to his you can go, usually he starts blue. Or usually most Ivan start wolves and like does all the camps and then comes
Mhm.
down and comes back. But and he's level 1 or level 2, but he's really low, right? Because he sapped everything. So you could
Yeah,
camp
so you
around his
you
bottom.
kind of need to know where he's starting his saps and then meet him on the return saps.
Yeah, yeah. And you have to skip all your camps, but you have to be strong level 2. Like
Like,
stronger
oh, you
than,
kind of have to be level 2 to match that because he's going to be level 3 that quickly, or what's
yeah,
the?
exactly. You won't have
Okay.
time to do, I like, just say you go into replay, for example.
Yeah.
One way to know when you need to be there is just simply think about how long it takes to do 3 camps on champ, 2 camps, 1 camp, and think how long it takes to go from red to wherever you need to be. And usually for me, so he usually, what I remember when I was trying to figure out how to stop the champ from freaking doing what he wants to do, if I want to cheese him, is yeah, it's like 153, something like that. It's 153 to like 210. So could be 2 camps, could be one, but I know for sure 1 camp is guaranteed. You want to camp him.
Okay. Cool. All right, I'll look into that. But yeah, the Echo Ramus. I guess I wanted to like, get a sense of because I feel like I struggle with Echo's identity as a jungler. And maybe it's like it was my second most played assassin after Zed. Zed was like quite a bit with like maybe 1.5 million mastery points, and then Echo was second. But I never really got the level of comfort I felt with Zed, especially like laning mid with Echo feels terrible, whereas Zed given
Yeah.
his kind of like poke mage like vibe. So obviously like jungling, you get to skip the laning of Echo, which is attractive, and I probably have like some built-in just combo mechanics. But I think he's obviously very different than Xin in terms of what he can do and what winning a game with Echo jungle looks like. So I wanted to talk through that. And then I figured I'd give you a sense of like my goal because maybe Echo isn't the right champion for what my goal is. So I'm 34. Like I started playing the game when I was 26, 27. And I had no real like competitive gaming background, mostly played sports and was pretty competitive career wise and all that. And I'm in this like unique point where I took like I finished like the previous career last year and I'm taking a year off and the goal is to just kind of like optimize hobbies, enjoy time with family, girlfriend, dog, all that kind of stuff. So I'm trying to get as good as I can with League and that kind of encouraged the jungle switch from mid to jungle because obviously as I'm getting older, like I felt capped mechanically with Zed, like it felt hard to play high diamond, where people were just spacing me and all that. So I figured as I'm getting like older, playing a role that's more rewarding for good decisions feels better. And I just figured I would be able to like kind of like think through that even as these hands get older and older. And so I have a lot of time right now. Like I am playing probably 6 to 8 try hard games on most days. But that's with the knowledge that like come year end, I'll probably start the next chapter of the career and it'll drop to, maybe those like 2, 3 games. So I'm trying to like
Right.
be careful about playing overly mechanical champions. Like I tried Kha'Zix, I tried Graves. Graves is a lot of like spacing and tethering, and I had no ADC background, so that felt like hard as you get into higher and higher elo. Kha'Zix was very like how you play a fight, with the isolation and stuff, felt very hard to play out. But the goal is like obviously to probably have like the base level of gameplay at a master level, just so I can kind of enjoy higher quality games and like have the decisions feel a little bit more rewarding because I'm definitely feeling the frustration of shot calling in some of these games and it's just like nobody's moving, people are dying on sides on stuff that I'm pinging. Obviously that's going to happen even in higher games, but you'll get the rare good game which feels better. So I'm just trying to be cognizant of what champion pool is realistic, that if I go down to those like 2, 3 games a day, you can still execute on those champions, but they're still fun, right? Like I don't want to really be. I don't know if I want to be a Poppy player or something like that. I always like the edgy champions, but I'm trying to be cognizant of, how much time I have in the future while
Right.
still being able to execute at a high level. So with that, like, you tell me if Echo is a bad idea, and maybe this gameplay will give you a context of where I am mechanically with him. But Zen feels pretty straightforward. You know what I mean? The
Yeah.
decision is like, can I go in? And then it's like, okay, you Q, move, Q, and then wait to knock up, hit your W or alt. Like, it's more decision based than like crazy mechanics.
I mean, the first thing I'll say is don't cap yourself because just like you see literal athletes peak at 34, right? It's
Hmm.
no differently. It's just a mentality, in my opinion. Maybe you can feel that physically yourself, but I know the fact that just by the very fact that I know there's UFC champions out there in one of the hardest sports in the world, literally fighting, and they're like
Yeah.
34 or 37, uh, and they're beating guys that are obviously 28, etc. I already know
Yeah.
that by that very facts, like we're playing a video game, like it can't be that hard,
No,
Versus
no,
if
for sure. But you
exactly,
like you start. How old were you when you started playing?
14, something like that.
Yeah, and so you're developing like twitch reaction muscles in your like hands and
That's
fingers,
true.
right? It's kind of like a sprinter, right? That's where me starting at 20, and I played Zed at an okay level. Like, it's not like my mechanics are bad. It's just champions whose identity is very like mechanical, or I guess like a nuanced gameplay. Like, I would kind of characterize some of Kha'Zix's kit, or at least the way I felt about it, is like you're playing the game through the lens of Kha'Zix in isolation, which is pretty unique to that champion.
Right. And that's another point to bring up as well because the thing about certain champions is like you said they have a certain style and I've seen, for example, we have a lot of Lee Sin players in the community right now, and I've seen them play so much worse on other champs besides Lee Sin, even though Lee Sin is meant to be a difficult champ to play, like overall, right? So
Yeah.
like I think that as well. Just be
Well, part
open.
part of me is tempted to play Lee Sin. Like, I love that champ, and I started even before I was a mid laner. My very first season, I got to gold like as a Lee Sin main, um, before I switched to mid. So, but then, yeah, I've always heard that it's just mechanically like a very silly champ to play. So
Yeah, just be open minded to it because I think, for example, Zed clearly will translate well for Echo because you have the same type of ultimate, a drawback, right? Uh,
hmm.
you just obviously have to aim it. It's like slightly different but same. Whereas, let's say if you picked an 80 carry like Kindred, that's
Hmm.
obviously like you said, Graves. It was a lot different. Uh, that's why I think I don't believe it's on your hands or whatever. It's just like you said, you haven't developed um, whether you believe you haven't developed the Twitch reactions or you believe, well, my belief is you haven't developed the understanding because I've seen, like I said, I've seen other people completely struggle, even though they play Lucian really well. For example, struggle to play Talia or Kindred, right? Which is like range
Yeah.
champs. So
Yeah, yeah, fair.
I'd say play which, and also just play, like you said, if you don't have much time in the future to play as much as you do now, I would still say play what you want to play. Like if you want to learn a certain champ, your elo might go down like a little bit, but your rise will be so much higher if you basically enjoy playing that champ and you want to learn it. As long as you're willing to, you have to want to learn it more than you want, I guess, to look a
Yeah,
certain way,
yeah, yeah. Well,
maintain a
that's
certain
why
rank, right?
there's not a very large pool of junglers that kind of fit that. I'm enthusiastic to learn them, and they are uh like reasonable, right? Like, the more exciting ones would be the Kindred, the Graves, the Lee Sin, the Nidalee, but those are such like long arduous roads that I don't I don't want to embark on them. And so Echo actually feels like a good in between, and I like the champ a lot. And that's why I figured I would bring the video, because I do struggle a little bit conceptually with understanding how to um like play certain team fights. Yeah, this is kind of like the turning point of the game.
Right.
But
I'll put this down to like obviously we haven't been reviewing the flow of the game so far, but I would I would always put this down to just knowing your targets, especially as an assassin. Like if you were playing Zed, it would be no different. Seeing a Renata Samira, if you don't one shot them, they'll one shot you, right? Because they've got reset, they've got the W reset as well. Obviously
yeah.
the death reset. So
Well, in this
yeah,
game, this has happened a few times as I'm having like stronger and stronger early games where I'm like playing around a specific lane, getting them ahead. Here, I'm just trying to I try and stop the Rammus roll because they should hard win 2v2, right?
right. We've
Before
got
this
item
play,
advantage. Yeah,
bot is 0-4 before this play. I rewatch it like Zach misses his E, Tristana W's in, doesn't hit anyone. They both get Renata ulted, and I'm not sure if I should be aware of that going like I don't know how much capacity I should have to notice them misplaying it that much for it to be a total bust. Like in my mind, I'm not thinking I'm going to a even close 2v2. It's just like, okay, stop the Rammus roll if he hits me first, and then we both get there at the same time.
that is true. I mean, they should be winning, and then you should stop the roll, and then you adapt if they're not, because you obviously miss what you were trying to do there, right? Then
Yeah, because he ults.
oh, you can stop it here.
Do I have to E in front of it?
Yeah, yeah,
Yeah, okay. So I don't properly.
yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, but what I guess once you follow him into battle, you're not seeing
Yeah.
obviously the end result of this fight, right?
No, yeah, and I don't know. I kind of reviewed it. I'm like, okay, it's hard to. I think stopping him's the right idea. There's no world where they should even be close to like
Yeah, that
losing
was the right
that.
idea.
But then I'm commit. Like I find this happens a lot with Echo with me, where the edge you can play on is pretty extreme with the ult and all that kind of stuff. So I'm kind of I don't know. I'm struggling. Sometimes, obviously, I think everyone will struggle. Every Echo player, like if they get CC'd and then they can't ult out, that happens. I think it's just more in the more structured team fights. I struggle with him.
Yeah,
Whereas these skirmishes like feel pretty natural, but when people are jockeying, unlike Zed, if you have a flank, even if they have vision on you, like there's only so much people can do depending on the comps, right? Like the CC is harder to hit on Zed because he's not meleeing you to kill you. And there's like the shadow outplay. Whereas Echo, a lot of times I feel like I get baited in by the W. Like, if you're trying to primary engage, that almost always doesn't work. As Echo, it's very hard to land the W. I guess like obviously if you have a out of vision flank, but yeah, I'm curious on what your thoughts of like Echo as a jungler, how it's like, do you just need to abuse his amazing dive potential? Is it like try and get a kill or two pre-6, opportunistic, and then start diving people? What's when you're playing good Echoes, what does it feel like?
yeah. So usually, what Echo feels like when I think it's at its best is you're basically AFK farming until you look for free kills. Which I guess you could say that about every champ, but it applies more to assassin junglers, right? Like
Yeah.
Kha'Zix, it would be literally no different because you scale with gold, but you also aren't very good at 1v1 skirmishing, like it's Intel. So you can like trade, but you're not like auto for autoing someone, right? You can throw your
Yeah.
abilities, but you're leaving after your ability. You're not gonna autoing. Um, like if you could, that would be amazing. But yeah, that's usually not the case. So Usually you're looking for cleanup kills because obviously just like Echo Kha'Zix, well Kha'Zix doesn't have an execute, but Echo and Zed obviously have an execute damage, so you're looking to abuse that. And you're looking also to be able to, like you said, the only time your W's are actually useful is when they don't know what's coming, right? Like
Yeah.
unless you're versing someone who's like in a corner where he can't move, like you're not usually gonna realistically hit your W against someone, a resisting opponent, right? So I think that is really important. Like you said, flanking, right? Structured fights can still mean you're flanking. You just have to be smart about it, right? But you should always be in a position where you're threatening them just by where you're physically standing, not with your abilities. I think that's important, like regardless if you're playing any type of assassin. That's like one of the most important concepts you're gonna have, especially mid to late
Yeah.
game.
The interesting thing with Echo that's a little different than when it felt like Kha'Zix or Zed is that in theory you can play a front to back and peel quite well. You know what I mean? Like because you're not committing your ult to do your damage, if someone's coming in or you're hitting front line on their side, but you're doing it with W shield, it kind of works out. So I think I struggle with like what is the optimal way to play it? Is it the flanks because your kit's not as good as a Kha'Zix or a Zed for flanking.
Yeah,
Um,
it's not it.
outside of like getting the W out of vision.
Yeah, so the front to back, I agree, but you have to know who you're hitting. If you're front to back hitting, for example, peeling the Silas, alright, in this
Yeah.
game, the Silas is a free kill because he's got ninja tabs, right? But let's say
Yeah.
the Silas is same items as you.
Mhm.
If you've had any experience versing this champ and he steals your ult and you fight each other to death, he beats the shit out of you. So
Yeah. Yeah.
that would be a terrible time to peel. But if you're versing, let's say, this Camille and she has no MR whatsoever and she's dying on your 80 carry, overextending, of course, right? So you have to know your
Yeah.
prey. You got to pick and choose who you actually want to hit. For example, this game is actually a very, very hard echo game. I would actually prefer because they have either reset, like you've got one reset, projectile dodge with Samira W.
Yeah.
Saras can steal your ult and heal off you. Camille has a magic shield if she orders you, and
Yeah.
Ramus. Like I'm looking at this and I'm like, okay, well, I have the top jungle and 80 carry is the only people I can actually hit. Samira, I mean Renata as well if his Q and Q's down, but Samira is also annoying, but like you have to save your Q until she spins around, right? So
Uh huh.
this is one of those games where you don't have a target. Usually you want to verse a mage, Victor, Oriana. What am I thinking? There's a little bit harder because he's pretty mobile. But like like
Like
Xerath, right? Immobile mages.
yeah.
That's where like Echo really shines. But when you verse, yeah, champs like this where they want to brawl, because you don't
Yeah.
have the DPS after your full combo unless they're low, it's actually very hard to play this game without a gold advantage. So I'd say,
A
yeah,
team wide gold advantage because I have a gold
no,
advantage, but I don't.
you having a gold advantage, yeah.
Okay.
Like I would say
So
before the game, if you didn't have a gold advantage, it's as your own champ.
yeah.
You're it's like a 60-40 situation where they have a little bit more of an advantage because they know if like basically if you know you can win fight to the death, a lot of the time they can take up more space on the map, right? Just by knowing that
Yeah.
you can't fight to death with them.
Yeah.
So you have to be smart about it. So I want to go back actually while we were talking. I skimmed through the dive you looked for. It was actually a really good look. If the guy, if you, but you didn't, if you took into account his health at the very moment. But the problem
Well, yeah.
is,
I got baited by this, and then by the time I got there, he healed on level 3, and yeah, I kind of I forced it, and I knew Ramus was pathing on this side, and so it was just kind of a I don't like it went okay, but I think it was a bad call.
Yeah, you played it well, but it was a bad call. But the reason why, I mean, this is just experience, right? The reason why isn't just because of the three, it's for D shield, right? D shield, pot, and three is like the triple whammy right here.
Is that the animation right there of a pot?
Yeah, that's a pot, and it's, well, D shield's always ticking, right? So
Yeah.
I think the important thing with top lane dives is you gotta check pot. You gotta check if they got D shield, because D shield will bait you like crazy. Like top
Yeah.
laners will call for a dive here, where I'm like, nah, I know by the time I get there, he's gonna be 40-50%.
Yeah, it's great. It changed quite a bit. I also like because she didn't have flash. Like it was a mixed. There was like pros and cons. Um, but yeah, I that's a good point. The health and D shield. I didn't and the level 3, all those things.
Yeah, that'll just come with experience. The more you, like I said, play. Like the last two reviews, I've been talking. I briefly talked about like stacked waves, right? And I think that
Mhm.
situation was perfect. But
Yeah,
just taking into account the details, again, you'll get better as you get more experience like that. You made a mistake there, but in the future, if you know how to like hit hit the right time to do that sort of play, you'll snowball the game completely, right?
yeah. And so these are the free kills you're looking for, right? Like you kind of see someone low, you come in,
100%. Yeah.
you take.
Only one gap closing like this is Lee Sin, right? Like probably
Yeah.
only Lee Sin. No one else can like gap close like this, so you gotta abuse that fact.
You mean the E over the wall? Because his gap close isn't like a Diana E is way better.
Yeah, but Diana is not eating over the wall, right?
Oh yeah, yeah. Yeah, okay, that's what I
Yeah.
meant. Okay.
And Kha'Zix wouldn't, like, if Kha'Zix eat over the wall there, he's not. You got the E and W, so like there is a lot
Yeah.
of gap close that you should be abusing like you are already here.
Yeah.
Yeah, so you got a lot of gold. You see the fight, you come down. I don't know. Little tax.
Yeah, I'm trying to like I think also the last two times you were just saying be a little more greedy and take.
Yeah. Californian tax.
Yeah. Like I don't know, was there a way to I guess I need to pan on that one play cuz that feels like the turning point of the.
I would only say like do what you set out to do, right? You're gonna
Okay, yeah,
block
yeah.
like because if you followed this guy into battle and your team was winning, that could turn the fight. So even if they messed up before, you already did
Yeah.
mess your job up, and there's a good chance your team will have to trade kills because of your mess up. Because yeah, like imagine Tristana isn't like in this bad position before. If this guy gets
Yeah.
the Q ult, there's a good chance the mirror is gonna reset anyway.
Yeah, fair. So just the yeah, it's kind of like if I didn't let him in the fight, it still doesn't work out because of how bad bot played it, but like
For
in
sure.
a world where they were playing it good, it would still be a bad situation because I misplayed it.
Yeah, not ideal at all.
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
We're trading. Okay, handshake. was good.
Like I also do that a lot with Echo, where when I have ult, I'm like pushing
Going
the
the
play a lot, and
yeah.
sometimes it obviously bites me in the ass if they had better CC chaining. Um, is that like a good amount of obviously like assassins you want to be aggressive on, but
Well, the thing that makes this work is because you're out of, well, you're not out of range per se, but you're not walking in a straight line. So for sure, like you can take your chances here. I think
yeah.
as long as you know what you need to dodge, right? Like there's not praying and hoping and that it'll work, and then there's
Well,
uh
no, I didn't know the Silas would be there. I think that's just like good fortune. I'm not trying to dodge that
oh
Silas
okay.
C.
Well, that would be better to take into account, but
Yeah. And
just
technically, if
knowing
he
if they could
landed
be in the
it and
bush.
Renata had handshake, I'd probably die and give a shutdown. So I think that's something in my gameplay that I feel like I give shutdowns a lot as Echo.
I'll only say it's bad if you weren't intentionally doing that. But if you're intentionally doing that, I think it's good actually. It just depends on whether
And
you knew or not.
no, like you're saying it would be good if I intentionally knew the Silas was there and I kind of ran in
Could
that
be there.
direction
Could be
to.
there.
Yeah. Okay. No, I didn't.
Okay. I think it's always like the could be rather than like because you don't know for sure, right? But you
Yeah.
can just mess with them if he is there.
I also, when I saw this draft, I thought Zach was gonna go AP, and then I thought we would have enough for Ramus, but he went tank. And then you'll see, like I kind of there's some dragon fights where I'm just trying to like play for the fight and kill Ramus before, and it does not work out.
Okay.
Like, should I have built Leandri's second item, given I'm the only one that can damage Ramus?
I was thinking about your build before, but the problem is uh this is the highest DPS build, lowest burst build. You are
Which
versing a
I mean,
tank.
DPS is good into Ramus, no?
Yes, it's good into Rammus, it's good into Salas. All the beefy boys.
But like, you don't think Leandri's over Lichbane in hindsight?
Mm, I can't I can't say because I've never tried that
Yeah,
before, to be
fair,
fair.
fair. I've been doing this lately because I don't know how to communicate that, you know? The
That's
focus
fair.
jungler, and then, later this game I tried to tell Triss like we were doing a Baron, like just R him when he gets close. Um, some of those are hard to communicate. But then
Yeah, that's
also it
fair.
like leaves me open for frustration typing because normally I'm unmuting when it's like the game's going bad and I don't know how to communicate with
Hey,
pings,
that's on
right?
you.
Like
Hey, that's on you. I say pings,
no,
and
no,
if
I
you
know.
want to type, that's fine.
But I don't want to type. I just want people to understand like, okay, the jungler just jumped in, guys.
Well, that one, he's unstoppable, so he's not ulting that one.
Yeah, 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 no.
It's fair.
That guy came from quite like I thought he wouldn't be
True,
able
I
to
thought that
make
was
that
kind of
long of a
free.
jump. Yeah. Yeah. That's like, is there something macro wise I can do this game? I don't know. It feels, I mean, like the Olaf's running it down. He was kind of like had a tilt series of games. Everyone else has gold, but I think is it
Yeah,
the
let's.
Samira CS to like the Tristana? Like that's pretty. concerning. The Jace is doing well. The Sylas is pretty weak.
So in the mid game, that is literally all irrelevant. You could be 0 and 10. Like, have you seen an 0 and 10 early like solo kill your top laner, for example?
Yeah, yeah, yeah. I have.
Oh, I shouldn't say solo kill is also irrelevant, but it's like an exaggerated point. If the 0 and 10 Olaf, for example, whatever this guy's
Mhm.
KDA is, can push in the wave, he's winning the game. Even though this Camille has more gold than him.
Yeah, yeah, yeah. But that's what I'm saying. Where it's like he's not playing like the thoughtful split pusher. He's like dying before the wave gets there, kind of thing. And then Camille is putting so much pressure in the side lane. Like it's not good deaths in Ting.
Yeah, right. So check this out. So here, you guys have Baron,
Yeah.
right? Why are we using the
Yeah.
Baron just to recall again? So like look at everyone on your map. You come out of base, Tristana clears the
Mhm.
top wave, one wave and decides, alright shit, maybe I'm gonna jump on the freaking tier 2 and recall for Dragon. Like this is the most like it's almost like too brain dead way of playing the game where you just play for dragons, right? But you have Baron. Why not like move up your line of vision? You know, all these
Yeah.
really good wards from Baron, but Baron's gone now, right? Why not
Hmm.
move up the line of vision with the push instead of using the push to base for like some bullshit item, right? Um, Same with Jace. Like, look at Jace on the minimap. Pushes one wave, comes from base, goes mid, pushes the wave, comes from, does scuttle, pushes, doesn't even, does three camp, three minions and bases again.
No, I understand, but like I guess I don't have the Baron buff, so that's not even in my top of mind how to utilize the Baron. But I've been finding this like I'm telling people to catch side waves, push waves before they join mid, or I'm like trying to ping it, and sometimes I feel like a chicken with my head cut off because I know what a solo laner should be doing, and then if that laner's not doing it, then I go like push that. So yeah, I guess I should just be pinging mid tower. I think in my mind right here, I don't know who has Baron, and yeah, I'm trying to sync with my team's resets, and I agree they're particularly bad resets. This guy's buying a cloak of agility before the ocean drake. Yeah,
Yeah, that's terrible. But
yeah,
that's, uh, I think I agree, Alex. You are also a part of the problem in the sense that you don't need to micromanage your team like that. You need to encourage them to be doing the right decisions anyway. So I know
hmm,
you want to be efficient with your time, but for example, you should be meeting this wave. If someone touches this wave, you're here to interact with them, right? So you should be even or ahead of the
okay,
wave. This wave coming out. If you're gonna
yeah,
go
yeah,
top
yeah,
side, it
yeah.
would be the same thing. You'll do red, and you'll be even with the wave. It's like don't even worry about Baron. Let's just say we're trying to win the game in general
Okay, yeah,
without
yeah,
Baron.
yeah, yeah. Yeah, I see that.
And like we'll talk about it more, but there's a big reason why side lane waves are so much more important than mid waves is because no one can rotate off sideways, right? Whereas in mid wave, if you push mid, they can still be in the area because someone's just gonna clear the wave and still be able to rotate. If you
What do
push
you?
in,
Sorry, what do you mean?
so let's say you get mid priority, like that used to be a big buzzword, like getting mid priority, right? Uh,
Hmm.
that only matters early game because laning phase, you get someone stuck on the tower, in which they can't move because they're on the tower, but and it's one person clearing the way. But in mid game, you notice how much easier it is to clear waves as you get up in levels, right? Like the Jace literally
Yeah.
uses one ability and clears the whole wave. So if you push mid, you don't get a move because they clear the wave in 3 seconds.
Okay.
You push side lane, they also clear the wave in 5 seconds, but they can't move to top, can they?
True.
From mid, they can move to left or right. Like look at the four entrances here, right? One, two, three, four. Look at if you push all the way to tier 2, They've got one entrance to move into mid. But if you push all the way in, they also have to be scared of you being there, right? Whereas as you push
Mhm.
mid, the only thing they have to be scared of is this entrance, right? They can still go to Raptor Bush entrance. Oh, sorry, Raptor Bush and the bush over walls, right? And they know you can't be there because physically there's not enough time for you to be there. Whereas
Yeah,
if
they
you
just saw
push
you on the mid.
exactly where you push all the way to tier two, you can be in the blue buff bush or you can be in the red bush, right?
Hmm.
So that's the like the real big difference in like how to. That's why I was saying like you need to move the vision line up because you can make better decisions with information delivered earlier to you. Like
Yeah.
seeing them come from raptors to the dragon pit, you can see them from a mile away. For example, that's how you're gonna set up your flanks. That's how Jace is gonna actually hit his QEs. You know.
Uh-huh. No, that makes a lot of sense. Should I be switching to Vision Trinket at this point, like the actual wards?
That's where your support
Because,
comes in. That's where support actually matters.
well, I understand, but once again, like it's solo queue, so yeah, sometimes I ping the Vision. I obviously going with him. He might. I think this guy was good. This guy is probably trying to do that, and I'm just slow on. I see the matching the wave and how that would be quite impactful in this situation.
Yeah, no,
I think
you need
I
sweeper.
think
You need sweeper for Baron and Dragon. Like, if you want to be flanking, ideally you want them, even if they know where you are, like around the area, they don't physically see you, right? So they don't see you channeling your W and stuff. So you definitely
is
still
that
need
echoes
sweeper.
like for Zin. Would it be okay to switch back to Trinket like mid
I
game
think it would
onward?
still be the same because, like, let's say you're trying to set up on Baron, you
Yeah.
need as much, like, you've got to deal with 4 wards, right, and a pink ward, and
Yeah.
usually one support sweep and pink doesn't clear all the wards. Like
Okay.
one ward can like ruin your whole setup on Baron. Like for example, if you're trying to bait Baron, um, so you definitely need the sweep plus pink, and
Okay.
this is where like you can start seeing values in pinks as well because that would be your way of dropping vision as well as denying vision rather
Mhm.
than just swapping to trinket.
Yeah, fair. And that would be in this case, like I buy a pink, I meet on the bot wave. We probably kill Silas if I'm there at like the perfect time, and then I can like
Or
drop.
he doesn't, right? Or he doesn't die. So I'm not saying because that's not in your control, right? Whether SARS dies or
Yeah,
not.
yeah, yeah.
But then
But we can push bot.
yes, and you can be in the jungle.
Got it. And that's where like you would get like the red buff aggressive control ward or the bush right to the left of the red buff,
Because guess what? At
and then
some
you're
point they have
looking
to
for
come
pinks.
back in the jungle, right? At some point.
Yeah.
Unless they
Yeah.
completely give up their whole thing, then you can start diving towers. If they want to give up this whole area,
Hmm.
you have inside track and they have like think about this. They have to if they wanted to go from tower to tower, look at the way they have to walk if they can't go in the jungle, right? It's like a
Yeah.
semicircle. Whereas you go in
Yeah.
a straight line, you see? It like the pathing gap is just way more
And
efficient.
And can you achieve this? Like, you do rely on your teammates to actually get enough vision in that area to feel comfortable with that pathing,
Support,
right?
yeah.
It's not like you as a sweeper and one control ward will get there, but if you're trying to like ping your support and sync up with them, that's the goal of the vision on the bot side.
Yeah, 100%. Because if you
Okay.
have a pink ward and hit, like this pink ward's absolutely useless. This
Yeah.
vision was all good. This vision's really good.
To be honest, that might be my pink ward. I don't know where I saw it, but I think it makes sense if you can pink ward really early and just put it in your own jungle for vision for the rest of the game. That's probably like my pink ward. Do you agree with that? Is that a concept?
Nah, I disagree. I've thought the same
Okay.
thing before, but that's, in my opinion, completely false because, yes, if someone shows, it's going to have value, but the value of them killing it is not where pink wards shine. Pink wards shine when you know for sure that they like are not in the area. For example, one of my favorite pink wards is red buff because it shows in between the two lanes when
Yeah.
someone's moving, and I know red buff's not warded, for example, so I know that for sure if I walk in the jungle, this bush physically isn't water. Maybe this bush is water, but then I sweep this like this entrance. Then I know
Yeah.
for sure it's not watered, and I can play accordingly to that. Obviously, you
No,
can
no.
see people rotating, right?
Yeah, but I wholeheartedly agree at this point in the game. I'm saying in the first like 8 minutes, like that control ward, for example, let's say you're facing like a Hecarim or a Master Yi that's gonna try and counter jungle you when you make bot plays. That control ward, if people don't go over, like, isn't it pretty high value if you can get it there at like minute 4 and just leave it there for the first 10-15 minutes?
Nah, unless you're gonna trade sides for like the whole game. Like,
Fair.
uh, yeah, if you're gonna trade sides the whole game, I could see the merit in that. But I would still rather put it in their jungle and then know that if he's not bot side, then he's in my top side, rather than I need to see him top side to validate he's in my top side. You know, like you
Mm,
can just use
okay,
the
yeah,
fact
yeah,
that
yeah.
he's not there, that he's somewhere else.
Yeah, you get like the double benefit of being able to play aggressive on that vision denial plus. Okay. Yeah.
Yeah. Like remember, like they only get 30 gold if they kill the ward, so it's not a big deal if you lose it. Like I know it is
Yeah.
75 gold is kind of like annoying, especially if you double pink late game. You actually do delay your item, but I think the more we'll review, the more you'll see the value of like vision in general. So
Yeah. And then in this mid game, like what we're talking about setting up these visions on the quadrants, the enemy quadrants, you're generally doing it around the next objective, right? Like in this case, because Dragon's coming up, would you be more tempted to play bot side, or the counterpoint would be that there's still that tier 1 turret top, so you could play for that if you wanted?
it depends
How do you
what you
think
want to
about
do.
which? Yeah, okay. But
So
that should be the side where you're setting up these control wards and stuff, right?
yeah, if
Like where you're
Jace
going to be for
refused
the
to
next,
go, but if Jace refused to go bot, I would be fine giving third drag and playing through all the way through top.
because Jace is like the strong side laner right now. You don't want to play around the
Exactly.
210
I don't really want to
level.
mess with the Camille as well as the Echo right now. I'm not. I don't favor my chances. I think he has like Travels Ravenous or something.
Yeah, 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 he's probably 3 levels on me. So
Yeah. Whereas Jace is 2 levels on the Salas plus Salas has a ninja tap. So if you do face the Salas, you are beating him up.
yeah, my smites are leaving a little bit, but my mental focus is not on the smiting. It's on fucking killing this Rammus, which I can't kill.
Oh, Salas cheese your ass. Okay.
Yeah, yeah. It was a bad back.
All right, let's look at one more sequence. There's a fight coming up. I
Yeah.
can see. Hey, you know how you guys killed them in your jungle before
Yeah.
with the dragon? That's exactly what I mean by moving up your line of vision. You knew they were coming, and then you literally just well, they face checked you and they just died, right?
Like this one now, or you're
No,
talking
no,
about the
no.
other
Like
time?
before
The
the drag.
the dragon one, the
Yeah, yeah.
dragon one. Yeah,
Before
yeah,
the
yeah.
dragon, you guys killed Ramus and then killed someone else.
Yeah. This Rammus is so unkillable. And then here, yeah, I'm hoping I can
Damn, all it
flash
takes is
out.
one Negatron cloak.
Yeah. Yeah, it's crazy. I don't know how I'm not melting the guy. Like he doesn't get passive MR, right? Like none of his kits giving him, it's all armor, I think.
I need to fact check that. The W might give him percentage increase. Obviously, aftershock does, but yeah, you don't do damage to the guy unless the guy is low, basically.
Yeah. Okay, so yeah, main thing is I could have probably like found more plays mid game with better like matching waves and vision, right? Like, because I think,
Yeah,
yeah, I don't know.
pick and choose what sideways you want to contest basically for the mid game,
Uh-huh.
and for the early game review, like just experience on the D shield aspect, and then the level 7 play when you're talking about the Remus going in, that was just execution basically on like you knew exactly what you wanted to do and then just misplayed on
Yeah,
doing it.
yeah.
I think
Overall,
that's
did the echo mechanics like it's an okay champ to focus on? It's
yeah for
not
sure. Your W placement's all good. The only
okay.
thing I would like the only thing I'm skimming through and seeing a pattern of is your ulti usage. Like try if you look at echo montages, it will always be the bullshit like pentakill, like bait them into your shadow, right?
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
Try to be more flexible with ulting instead of just using it for a heal ult back. Because there are some fights where uh you weren't gonna die and
Uh-huh.
you could definitely ult back. Or like or you could like threaten the ult back rather. Like I'm not
True.
saying
Like
they're
try
gonna
try
walk
try
into
and
it.
play with that a little bit.
Yeah.
Okay.
Go and practice still and
Uh,
just see the range because it is a bit like it's different, right? To play like that, but yeah, you can
yeah.
definitely
Sometimes
abuse
if
it.
I'm trying to do that and then they just like space it, I feel like such an idiot. So yeah, I think in these broader skirmishy team fights, it's probably like where everyone's attention is scattered. It's probably easier to pull off for sure.
Yeah, it's
Um,
just an extra threat. Like it's up to them whether they like walk
and
into it,
then
but
what are like good angles to pick Echo Jungle? Like what would I be looking for in draft?
it's
Because right
just
now it almost
mages.
feels like every game is like, okay, Xin Zhao's like I'm probably gonna be able to fuck up the enemy jungler and have agency early game. So yeah, I'm like trying to think of obviously when I have a mid AD, it seems like Echo might be a good pick, but mages especially you think are like a Lux AD, a Lux support and like a Victor mid. That's like a very good Echo game.
Yeah, it's bad into the ego supports like
Janna,
Lulu,
Sona,
Lulu
Seraphine.
Yumi. Yeah, exactly. But it's good
Yeah.
into the non-shield heal mages. Like you said, Lux. Well, Lux shield's bullshit. It doesn't count. Lux,
Yeah.
Xerath, Victor. I keep saying Victor because yeah, I've gotten too much dopamine from farming that champion as Echo. Uh,
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
yeah, just
Okay.
mages and immobile 80 carries as well, like Jinx Aphelios. But
Um,
obviously, it can go both ways. If you don't do enough damage to kill them, obviously they kill you. But just
do you
immobile
need
mages, immobile 80 carries.
what about like engage on the team? Like, is that can you play a decent Echo game without having like engage on your team?
Yeah,
Because
as long as
it
you
feels
set
really
up
bad when
properly.
you're yeah. I guess if you're out of vision and can land W's, then and having better vision
I
will
think
help with
just
that.
play with that mid game. Play with like
Okay,
using your tempo to use it to move your vision line up and get side lane waves in, right?
got
Obviously, you
it.
don't tunnel it, but like see experiment with it, right?
Okay, makes sense. All right,
All
that's
right.
very helpful. Thank you.